some kind of complaints had come and we had tried to rectify it yesterday itself. But as you mentioned, this was a huge problem. It is not that much problem.
Magicbricks Now exclusive. Election Commissioner of the state of Maharashtra, J.S. Saharia, accepts the goof-up that lists were not updated but says citizens should have checked in advance. Aftermath of the oil spill comes back to haunt Chennai. Despite our repeated demand for protective gear, the state fails volunteers and fishermen who were exposed to toxic sludge. And now children suffer rashes. Fishermen complain of serious health problems. And finally, the Green Tribunal steps in, issues show cause notice to various state authorities on Bellandur burning, demands an explanation asking why civic bodies shouldn't be prosecuted under the Environment Protection Act.
I've asked for the action to be taken by NCPCR, and I expect a report this week.
And Magicbricks Now speaks exclusively to the Union Cabinet Minister for Women and Child Development, Maneka Gandhi. Big impact. Minister assures a probe on Noida's 7-year-old karate kid who lost her life allegedly due to DPS Global School's negligence. Magicbricks Now also demands answers on pressing women's safety issues across India. Hello and welcome. You are watching The Big Story here on Magicbricks Now. I'm Krishna Kumar. First up, all those who came into contact with the toxic oil sludge in Chennai are now vulnerable to various health hazards. Magicbricks Now's report on the issue has got the backing of a fact-finding team which has now raised similar concerns. My colleague Shweta went on ground and spoke to several fishermen who were a part of the cleanup operation. Take a look at this.
Health workers are facing a hard time in dealing with the after effects of the NO oil spill. Doctor of the local government hospital told us that the workers complained of fever, throat pain, coughing, skin problems, giddiness and eye burning and a lot of other infections. However, they denied that there were any serious health complications due to the oil spill. On the other hand, fishermen told us that they are facing problems only after they started working in the cleanup operations. They also told us that they spent roughly around 2,000 rupees, which is far more than what they could earn in a given day. Now they are demanding compensation from the government for their healthcare purposes. In Chennai, Shweta for Magicbricks Now.
கண்ணுங்களாம் போய் எடுத்து தாழ முடியல என்ன அதில் மறுநாள் போனேன் இன்னும் மறுநாள் அதேமாதிரி 400 கூலி வாங்கினேன் நான் முடியல அப்புறம் 2 ஆஸ்பத்திரி போயிட்டு பண் பார்க்க அதை போய் பார்த்தேன் நம்பர் எனக்கு ஹெல்த் இல்டர் காட்டினாங்க ஹெல்த்து சில ஹெல்த்து தெரியும் சில ஹெல்த்து தெரிய மாட்டேங்குது.
ஸ்கின் அலர்ஜி கொஞ்சம் அரிச்சலாக இருக்குது.
என்ன ஸ்கின்ல
டோன்லாம் ஒயிட்டாக டோனில் அவ்வளோதான் ரொம்ப எரிச்சலாக இருக்குது. வேறு எதுவும்
ஆயில். ஆனால் உங்களுக்கு இதை பற்றி ஏதாவது சொன்னாங்களா?
எதுவுமே எக்ஸ்பிளைன் எதுவும் பண்ணல.
அப்போல்லாம் எந்த இதுவும் சேஃப்டியான இதெல்லாம் கொடுக்கவே இல்லை. இப்போ எல்லாமே கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஆனால் இப்போ எனக்கு நான் வேலை செஞ்சது ஒரு வாரமாக எனக்கு எங்களால் இப்போது கண் எரிச்சல் இது சமாளிக்க முடியல, உடம்பு அரிப்பு எடுக்குது. அதனால தான் இப்போ ரொம்ப போகாமல் நாங்கள் இருக்கிறோம்.
நெஞ்சு எரிச்சல், தலைவலி அந்த மாதிரி அப்போ வேலையை முடிச்சுட்டு வந்த பிறகு ஜுரம் அடிச்சிருக்கு. அதனால் வெளியே ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் போயிட்டு எனக்கு கம்மியான சம்பளம் கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஆனால் வெளியே ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் போயிட்டு 2000 3000 செலவு பண்ணியிருக்கோம். மறுபடியும் எங்கள் வருமானம் இந்த ஆயில் ஒதுங்கினதுனால எங்களுக்கு ஃபிஷர்மேன்லாம் வேறு இந்த ஆயில் ஒதுங்கினால மீன் வியாபாரம் எதுவும் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லிட்டு மறுநாள் போனோம்னா அதே மாதிரி அந்த பிரச்சனையை டெய்லியும் இருந்தது.
எங்கள் வீட்டிலேருந்து 3 பேர் போயிருக்காங்க. அவங்க ட்ரெஸ் எல்லாம் ஒரு ஆயிலாக இருக்குது. அவங்க எடுத்துகிட்டு வந்து எங்ககிட்ட போட்டாங்கன்னா அதை நாங்கள் துவைக்க போனோம்னா அந்த நெடி எங்களுக்கு ஒரு இரும்பல் தான் எங்களுக்கு. அவங்க அங்கேருந்து 400 ரூபாய்க்கு வாங்கிட்டு வந்தாங்கன்னா சேலரி, இவங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் பார்க்கறதுக்கே கரெக்டாக இருக்குது. குழந்தைக்கே ஒத்துக்கல, சின்ன குழந்தை இருக்கு பாருங்கள், அதுக்கு பின்னாடி அந்த ஆயில் பட்டு அப்படியே ரவுண்டாகிடுச்சு. அதுக்கு நாங்கள் 2000 ரூபாய்க்கு மேலே செலவு பண்ணிடுவோம். அவங்க அப்பா தூக்கி அது கொஞ்சம் போது அந்த ஆயில் பட்டு பின்னாடி பெரிய ரவுண்டாகிடுச்சு. அதை நாங்கள் இதுக்கு ட்ரீட்மெண்ட்டு பார்க்குறோம், ஆனாலும் சரியாகலை.
We also caught up with one of the members of that fact-finding team which has raised the issue of health concerns for all those who were exposed to the oil spill. Take a look at what.
Immediately after the oil spill, in the initial days, many of the locals and people who are part of the cleanup crew, they all reported symptoms of acute toxicity like eye, nose, throat irritation, and also some of them had cough and chest tightness, and even some school students, they experienced some nausea, vomiting and headache. Yeah, so these were all the acute symptoms that they reported.
Okay. Do you think overprotective gear could have helped this?
Protective gear could have definitely helped reduce these symptoms. These symptoms could not have been totally done away with, but definitely the occurrence of these symptoms would have been reduced if they had used proper protective gear.
Were the medical camps effective?
There was one medical camp, and that was also a makeshift medical camp from an Amma canteen, and it was mainly to deal with the short-term problems that were there. Probably if they had injuries, they had TT injections, and they had minimal essential medicines. And in the sense of the oil spill and the long-term follow-up that is required, that alone is not enough, and it requires a larger medical team to address the whole issue.
Okay. So what do you think about the long-term effects? How will people be affected due to this?
So in the long term, it might be several years or even decades. So people might experience, people who have been exposed to these chemicals, not for 1 or 2 days, but for a considerable period of time, without any protective gear, they might experience cancer. They might get blood cancers like leukemia, skin cancer, lung cancer, or bladder cancers. These are all proven.
So what do you think the government should be doing now?
So the government should, first of all, they should fully ascertain, they should have an expert team to find out the scale of the spill and the disaster, and they should have a team of medical experts who can initiate a study with what data they have on the workers. They can follow up these people, and I think they should have, but now that we have experienced this, for the future they should have a medical team or ready with this sort of knowledge, so that they can handle these patients. And not only the government doctors, but also I think all doctors, both private and government, they have to know what problems can occur in the long term due to this oil spill, so that they can diagnose these patients better and treat them.
Away from the oil spill and onto the big Magicbricks Now impact. In an exclusive conversation with our reporter Deepa Rana, Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi assured a swift probe into the death of the 8-year-old karate kid Ghazal Yadav. Ghazal, a student of DPS World School in Noida Extension, bled to death after a karate championship in her school went awry. Take a look at this.
You've asked NCPCR to take an action on Ghazal Yadav's case, a girl who had died in the DPS World School. Another important aspect to this case is that you had also asked for the sexual offenders case from the Home Ministry. I'd want to know both ways. Where has that register reached, and also have you asked to take the action on Ghazal Yadav's case?
No, I've asked for the action to be taken by NCPCR, and I expect a report this week. Regarding the sexual offenders thing, nothing has happened as yet with the Home Ministry. We're pushing them all the time. One of the other things that we have done today is a completely new break, which is I received a terrible, terrible email from somebody who said that there's this little girl around Pune, and she has been raped, 3 years old, and in a way that all her sexual organs and her anus and all have been slashed, and she's in hospital, and there's no money, so we've immediately had her treated. But there are so many children like that who are, especially in the poorer sections, where there's nobody to attend to them, there's nobody to help them. So now we're making a fund, and any child who is molested, raped in a way that they need hospitalization, we will help them.
In fact, we also spoke to the chairperson of the NCPCR, or the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, that Maneka Gandhi was talking about, and we spoke about the horrifying Pune incident, and we asked the chairperson if the child's parents have received aid from the government. Listen to what she had to say.
Well, this email was from a concerned citizen, and appears from the email that this incident occurred on 9th December 2016, and the child was so brutally raped that it has to undergo major surgery for repairing its system, especially the urogenital system. And therefore we got in touch with our state commission and also with the district authorities, and I was informed that from my state commission in Maharashtra that already a financial assistance of 3 lakhs has been sanctioned for this child. But since the parents are migrants and they have not been able to locate the child to give the assistance to her, and they also went to the village where the child was there, but the villagers were not willing to communicate the address. However, the district administration has been told to keep a lookout for this child and to see that we get details of the bank account so that this money can be transferred for her treatment and for her rehabilitation.
Now, getting back to Maneka Gandhi, Deepa, my colleague, also quizzed the minister on the centre's initiatives to make our cities more secure for women. This comes after a spate of horrific incidents of violence against women in the first 2 months of the brand new year, 2017.
The fund, ma'am, there is also the Nirbhaya fund, and how many Sakhi centers have been established under that fund? Because in this budget, there was also not much announcement made. I don't know if there was there's in the finance bill.
Well, we've reached almost 100 Sakhi centers, and we should go and see them.
Okay.
And the idea is to get to 150 this year, and then to take it up to 600.
So allocation was done for the Nirbhaya fund?
Yes, absolutely.
Shifting focus away from that, after the incident of the heavily polluted Bellandur Lake catching fire in Bengaluru, the National Green Tribunal has invoked a suo motu in the matter. In fact, the NGT has slapped a notice to all the civic agencies involved in the upkeep of the Bellandur Lake and asked them why they shouldn't be prosecuted under the Environment Protection Act. We do have Mr. Sridhar Pabisetti of the Namma Bengaluru Foundation joining us on the phone, and for more on that, Mr. Sridhar Pabisetti, we've discussed Bellandur Lake on many occasions. It's been 5 days. The fire seems to have died down, but when it comes to the fixing of the lake, nothing has happened since the fire broke out, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you remember, the last time I came, I said the Pollution Control Board has fiduciary responsibility to go and investigate and find out what caused the fire, what are the harmful effects of the fire, and why aren't the simple measures that were outlined in the experts committee of which Namma Bengaluru Foundation was part of, where we had said that stop debris dumping into the lake, stop garbage dumping into the lake. And there have been many citizen groups across the city who have come to us with evidence of showing that they have been calling the BBMP and showing instances of such kind of mishaps happening, but no response has been forthcoming from BBMP and other agencies. So the National Green Tribunal, we are very thankful for NGT for taking suo motu cognizance, and from Namma Bengaluru Foundation we have implemented into the case, and we will be assisting the National Green Tribunal in bringing a lot more of this evidence and ensuring the government moves into action. The report is out there. The expert committee report is an excellent document to go and implement. So why are we still waiting?
Why are we still waiting? That's a very good question, or rather a very bad question, Sridhar. We shouldn't be waiting for this at all whatsoever. And here absolutely. We're talking about authorities that the suo motu notices sent by the National Green Tribunal. It includes the BWSSP, and it includes the BBMP or the Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike. It includes the Bengaluru Development Authority, BDA, and the KSPCB, the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, isn't it? All of them are equally responsible for the way the Bellandur Lake is at this point in time, aren't they?
Absolutely, and they all can take simple short-term, medium-term and long-term measures, and that's exactly what we re-emphasized, that they should coordinate between themselves and move into action mode. Enough of saying that, we are waiting for JICA funding for 110 villages, sewage integration or UGD ground. We can't keep pushing it for some major worldly event to happen and not do things that are very much possible today. the BWSSB should immediately go and do sewage quantification study, and it can be done in less than a week. All you have to do is determine the exact amount of sewage that's flowing into the Belandur Lake. The second is to look at how do you run the existing 721 MLD STP installed STP capacity to full steam. We still have documented evidence where the sewage treatment is not up to the capacity. The Vrishabhavati Valley treatment plant is really not functioning to its capacity. Similarly, many upstream STPs can be improvised. So why can't we look at simple, doable things and go and get into saving the Belandur Lake? And I think that is the action that we have to move. And as we are speaking, Bangalore is getting into rationing of drinking water and water for other usages, because that's going to be the summer crisis. So I think the agencies have to now get into action mode and really act upon the simple recommendations that are there in the expert committee report.
Absolutely, it's cut and dry, isn't it? There is hardly any debate on the matter. And to take it forward, we're being joined on the phone line by Mr. Nasir Hussain of the Congress. Mr. Nasir Hussain, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the big story at Magicbricks. Now, this Belandur Lake issue has just gone on for way too long. 2 fires have taken place and still absolutely no action on the ground.
No, I think the Chief Minister himself has asked for a report on this whole issue. And the expert committee had earlier given some suggestions for which some bodies claim that partially they are implemented. Some bodies, civic bodies, say they are not they have not been coordinated. So that is the reason why Chief Minister himself has stepped in and has said that immediate time-bound report has to be given. And he said that action will be initiated against all those erring officials who have not been working on these things, despite the fact that the expert committee had given some solutions and some advices on Belandur Lake issue.
But Mr. Hussain, there is the expert committee report, the Belandur Lake Rejuvenation Committee report, which is there, which has every single detail from possible solutions to immediate steps that need to be taken and the long-term solutions needed to rejuvenate Belandur Lake, and that has already been presented. How come that has not been taken into cognizance?
See, I am speaking about the action against all those erring officials and the civic bodies who are responsible for cleaning up the lake, for removing the pollution from that and reviving the lake. Because not one committee, one expert committee is there are several other committees which includes even the legislators have been formed. So despite having reports, someone has to work on it. The government can only push for that. So the Chief Minister himself has said that now he will monitor it. He wants a report on why these things have not been implemented and why still that the lake issue has not been sorted out. Why do we need every time the NGT or some other body from the central government to monitor or to wrap the officials here in the state? Who is responsible for that? Is it the political dispensation or the bureaucracy? We have to find it out. That is exactly the reason why Mr. Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister of Karnataka, has asked for a report on the basis of which I think the immediate action will be initiated against all the erring officials.
Mr. Hussain, I have to remind you that even as this is getting done and we are trying to figure out who is is at fault or who needs to whose knuckles need to be wrapped, Belandur continues to burn. It continues to be in a pathetic state of affairs. Mr. Sridhar Papisetti, we just heard Mr. Nasir Hussain tell us that there will be clear report made out on who are responsible, and the Chief Minister is personally looking into this into this matter. Is there anything? One thing I want to ask you is that the NGT plans to prosecute these agencies under the Environment Protection Act. What do you think can be done on that front?
I think the officials have to get into a quick action mode and commit to a comprehensive plan of executing the expert committee recommendations. They should come back with a time-bound action plan of committing that in 10 days we are going to do this, in 30 days we are going to do this, in 6 months we are going to do this, and in 18 months we are going to do this. Unless they come back and show this, I really don't think NGT has powers to even be lenient on these officials. Why has the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board not come out with a report analyzing what was the cause of the fire and what are the preventive and curative actions that they have, corrective actions that they have imposed on the various authorities? The Pollution Control Board has failed in its principal obligation. Mr. Nasir Hussain in the previous debate had said that he's trying to get in touch with Pollution Control Board. I would like to know what has he heard from the Pollution Control Board on what is it that they would like to do.
Mr. Hussain?
The fire emerged.
Mr. Hussain, if you're still with us, you were telling us that you were getting in touch with the Pollution Control Board. What did you hear from them?
See, last time, I think a couple of days before when I was on your show, I had spoken to the BBMP commissioner. Then I was trying to get in touch with the BDA commissioner. I have spoken to all the concerned officials. It is not one agency which is involved here. There are several agencies, several authorities which are involved in this and supposed to monitor this lake. That is the reason now why it is not just the Pollution Control Board, not just the BBMP or not just the BDA. Now the Chief Minister himself, even the Chief Minister himself has taken up the issue. He has asked for a report, and he has said that any official, any bureaucrat, and even including maybe some corporators or some whoever are hearing in this will be taken to task. Now the point is, it is not about the report of one person. You already have an expert committee report which has given solutions, which have given suggestions. So someone has to implement it. Why is it not implemented? That is the moot question. I think all the panelists were asking in the previous panel discussion, and even I personally feel so. See, when the government had constituted an expert committee, and the expert committee has already come out with a solution, and it has to be implemented. If it can't be implemented, why should we have an expert committee at all? So who is responsible for it? It could be anyone. The Chief Minister is serious, the government is serious, I think they will go after it. I think we have to give them a couple of days' time or whatever the time they'll take to sort out this issue. Because this is something which can't be done in a couple of hours at time, because this has been accumulating over decades and decades. Now we have to not just get the pollutants out of it, we have to also see that the entire lake is revived.
All right, Mr. Shinde Papisetti, I'm trying to get a last word in from you. Then a couple of days, now that you are the Chief Minister himself personally taking this matter into his own hands and figuring out what needs to be done, how do you plan to take it forward from here on? You have the NGT's backing as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to argue in the National Green Tribunal and request the same thing that I requested Mr. Nasir Hussain, telling when will we get a time-bound action plan of executing the recommendations of the expert committee. The second thing Mr. Nasir Hussain has not answered is saying that what did he hear back from the Pollution Control Board? We are all asking, every Bengalorean today is agitated and asking, telling what did the Pollution Control Board do?
That's right, sir. But right now you have not just the Pollution Control Board, but just about the entire range of authorities who are responsible for the way Bellandur Lake...
Not really, Krishna Kumar. The principal responsibility of protecting the environment lies with the Pollution Control Board. They should have woken up and got into the action and set all the other agencies in line. Unfortunately, I don't know why the Pollution Control Board failed in this instance.
But Mr. Shinde Papisetti, I was only saying this because I'm not sure if we're getting an answer about what exactly is the KSPCB's position on this at this point in time. Mr. Hussain, would you be able to throw some light on that? What exactly is the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board saying about Bellandur Lake at this point in time?
I would just like to intervene here and say, see, there are different theories that are being circulated here, both in the media and in the official channels of various authorities. One of them is that it is because of all the it is because all the what you say that accumulated from various parts of the city, the waste that has been accumulated. There's so much of chemicals in it. That is the reason because of which this fire has taken place. So I really don't know, because that could be the official explanation for this fire that has taken place in Bellandur Lake twice, or it could be a more scientific explanation that will come up in a day or two. So I think we have to wait for that. Let's not go by what is being circulated or what is being speculated in the media. Let the official authorities come out with their official explanation, and the government will immediately take action again.
Sir, I can assure you that we've done little or absolutely no speculation when it comes to the Bellandur Lake right here on Magicbricks Now. We've only gone by the facts. We've gone by the Rejuvenation Committee report. We've gone with the scientific, the truth about the mess that the Bellandur Lake is, and we're only asking that we're not asking the authorities to attest the fact that it is indeed a toxic mess, but to do something about it as authorities. Instead of confirming doing anything. I mean, we wish that they would do something about it. Mr. Sridhar Papisetti, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here. Mr. Nasir Hussain, as always, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on The Big Story on Magicbricks Now. And with that, it's a wrap here on the show. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MagicBricksNow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at MagicBricksNow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/MagicBricksNow.